So here we are. Thank you all so much for coming. All of you, I can just about see you out there. This is a fantastic hall, and what a beautiful town. My name is Anthony Phillips, and I'm your Master of Ceremonies tonight. We of the Future of Power have so far visited 22 cities. This is the 22nd city that we visited in our time here in India. And this is a program that I hope tonight we can tell you a lot more about. I'm going to be introducing to you tonight the person who conceived, who was inspired to conceive this program. And I also want to introduce to you our partners, and our partners are the Brahma Kumaris, who I'm sure many of you know very, very well. And I'd like to call onto the stage now somebody who I've known for over 30 years. She has been with the Brahma Kumaris for 36 years. She is a student and a teacher. She was born in Australia, so I suppose that means she's Australian. However, I first met her in Hong Kong. She's lived all over Asia, and for the last 2 years, she has been the main coordinator of this program. So there is no one better to tell you about the Brahma Kumaris and how this piece, the Future of Power, is set up. So if I could have Sister Maureen onto the stage.
I'd first like to start by saying a little about why the Brahma Kumaris are involved in a project which is talking about power. Because many people think of power as something abusive, aggressive. In fact, mostly people associate power with only business people or politicians. And I think what's happening through this project is we're bringing power back to the people. The Brahma Kumaris are a spiritual organization, not a religion. The main aim of the Brahma Kumaris is to bring spirituality into everything we do. We have 20 wings, or maybe what you would call departments, whether it's media, social, science, political, jurists, and within all of these wings, people who are practicing meditation, but also practicing their profession, are always thinking how to bring spirituality into every field. So because of this, they've developed various programs and projects. One of them is the values in healthcare. Another is values and education. Another is self-managing leadership. So whether it's in business or in education or in medicine, everyone's thinking, how can I, first of all, serve the people within my profession? Because, as you know, stress is increasing day by day. But also, people are looking for answers. Our world is not very comfortable for us at the moment, and so we're trying to find ways that we can live in this world and maintain a sense of peace and harmony. So because of that, all of these projects are being developed. We have centers now in over 130 countries throughout the world, and so these programs are filtering through to all levels of society, whether it's in agriculture or whether it's in rural development or in schools and hospitals. We're bringing spirituality into every field. Power often is a struggle. Someone wants power over, another one is giving their power to. But here we're trying to have power with, which means to work together in power, work with the professions, not that, you know, one day we go to the temple and then the next day we're in our business and quite different, but how do we bring it into everyday life? So this is why the Brahma Kumaris have partnered with the Future of Power. We are bringing power into our everyday lives, because power is also very much about the inner power, the power to tolerate, the power to make the right decisions, to discern, and also what we all feel we need more of, willpower. And there's two aspects to the teachings within the Brahma Kumaris. One is meditation, which is about understanding myself, empowering myself. The other is yoga, which is connecting with the higher source. So one of the affiliates of the Brahma Kumaris is the Raj Yoga Education and Research Foundation, which is really studying the ancient Raj Yoga of Bharat, which we'll be introducing a little bit later on. So this is why the Brahma Kumaris have found, I think, a very good partnership, and we all need to bring power back into our lives, but not in an aggressive way, as an inner power. So thank you very much for joining us this evening, and I've enjoyed a very wonderful time here and look forward to our program this evening. Om Shanti.
So now, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the candle lighting ceremony. So I would like to invite Mr. Nizar Juma onto the stage, Basvaraj Bai onto the stage, Mr. Dharamraj, Maureen Chen could come, Lakshmi Kumaran, Captain Ganesh Karnik, P.P. Hegde, Helen Sayers, Anne Bona, Sister Esther, Vishvashari Ben, and B.K. Nirmala onto the stage now for the candle lighting ceremony. And now we will light the candles. Go ahead.
Jyot jagao, Jyot jagao, Vishwa Shanti ki Jyot jagao.
Thank you so much. Thanks. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I come to the part of the program that I personally like the best. I'm about to introduce to you the person who conceived of the future of power. He is a very big man, big physically, but the main thing about him is that he has a huge golden heart. He is one of the most generous and positive people I know. He is the ultimate mover and shaker in the world. He's a big businessman. He was born in Uganda. He lives in Kenya. He has Indian blood. His great-grandfather was Indian from India. And he's a very busy man. He's an Ismaili Muslim. He is very closely associated with the Aga Khan. In fact, He is responsible for 52 of the Aga Khan's publicly traded companies in very close association with the social development program of the Aga Khan Foundation. With all this, plus his own business in Africa, throughout Africa, he has found time, and in fact, I will tell you that in private conversations with me, he has told me that he thinks in his mind that this is the most important thing that he does. This man finds the time to go around India and inspire all the Brahma Kumari centers to run these programs. Tonight, it's Mangalore. And tonight, I have very great pleasure to introduce to you the person who is going to explain all about the future of power and why it is so relevant for you here in India. Please give a warm round of applause for Mr. Nizar Juma.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks to Anthony. Before he goes back, I want to say a couple of words about Anthony. Anthony is a corporate strategic consultant. And that means that he advises very large corporations like Nestle. And he has come all the way from England to be with us for this program and yesterday's program. Not only that, but he has come all this way at his own expense and without charging us for his time and efforts. So we are most grateful to Anthony. He was also our facilitator for the program that we have yesterday that we will talk about in a minute. Thank you. Thanks. Good evening once again. I'm very happy to be here amongst you and particularly happy to be in Mangalore, which for us has been a great experience. It's a great city. I'm here to tell you a little bit about what future of power is all about. Morni just came and told you that as soon as we think about the word power, it brings connotations of lots of things which are all quite negative. But today we are going to talk about what the positive powers are also. What about? Until 2,500 years ago, world power was in Bharat, in India. From here, the whole world was ruled. After that, power moved to other countries, which also held the power, world power, for a certain time. But Bharat held this power the longest, and it was for 2,500 years that they held this power. When power was in Bharat, it was what we call soft power, because we were ruled by benevolent kings who cared for the people they ruled over. So they ruled with love. And so there was no need to rule by force. When power moved from here, it went to other countries, and I will name a few of these, not necessarily in the order in which the power went there, but from here it went to many countries, including China, it went to Egypt, it went to Greece, it went to Rome, went to Spain, it went to Great Britain, and power is now in the United States of America. But in the process, when the power was moving, it became harder and harder And today, power is very coarse. What that means is that the definition of power is how many bombs and missiles and guns we have, and what is the state of our bank account, how much money we have. This decides power. Isn't that right? All of us today associate power with that kind of power. Since 2007, we have seen that there has been a world economic meltdown, both economic and financial meltdown. The result of that is that Europe and North America is now bloated with debt to such an extent that most of them are close to bankruptcy. And also their GDP growth is either zero or close to zero or mostly in negative territory. So this means that there is once again a shift of power. Power is now shifting back from the West to the East. And specifically, this power is coming back to Bharat. Now, you might say that that is going to take a long time or difficult to believe or whatever your thoughts are. Important thing is to know that power is definitely coming back to Bharat. Now, when it comes back to Bharat, we can also behave like the rest of the world and say, we will also take a gun and rule with the gun and continue with the habit of having now hard power, coarse power. The other alternative is that when we have the power, that we make it into soft power. How is it possible to make it soft? We had about 42 delegates who came in a dialogue, and they were people from many, many different professions. Some of them were from the arts, some from the sciences, some were authors, sports people, some were politicians, some were business people, industrialists. So all of these people came together to talk about whether it is possible to bring back power in India and to make it soft. And what is the definition of soft? Soft power means that we bring back spirituality into our daily lives. Now you might say that that's a bit difficult because we also have to do our normal duties, our work, and our this and that. So let me explain that. We are talking about spirituality and not religion. Religion means that we have decided from the time we were born that we have been taught that our religion is the best one and all others are inferior. That is not something we want to debate and talk about. Leave religion. We are talking about spirituality. Today, we are all a mixture of people from all different nations and races. Even in the future of power, you saw Morni who came. She was a Christian. Anthony is a Protestant, Church of England. I am a Muslim. Like that, we have people that have come from many parts of the world, all coming here with a common cause, and that is spirituality. Because we are all spirits. We are all what we call souls. And in India, this is easy for us to understand. And as soon as we say that we are souls and we have one Paramatma, who is God, and we are the children of that God, that automatically brings us together because we are brothers and sisters. So that is the easy way for us to come together and talk about spirituality, not religion. What does spirituality mean? In religion, we say that, listen, I have my own day. If I am a Christian, my day is Sunday. If I'm Jewish, my day is Saturday. If I'm Muslim, my day is Friday. If I belong to Shiva, my day is Monday. And so on. The other thing we say is, some of us say, listen, I do my prarthana, I do all my religious duties first thing in the morning. And after that, let me get on with my life. Don't mix the two. Isn't that what quite a lot of us say? We think about it. Others say that all this talk about religion and spirituality is okay for old people, it's okay for women, but it's not really the right thing to talk about for macho men. I say to you, let's make that mistake. We all need to bring spirituality into our life. How do we bring that? If I decide that from tomorrow I will not get angry, for example, that means I'm bringing spirituality into my life. If I decide from tomorrow I will not do harm to anybody, I will not give sorrow to anybody, that means I am bringing spirituality. Sometimes it's referred to as values. I'm bringing those values back into my life. India is one of the few countries in the world where even today our systems and customs are such that they all go back to our base, which is based on spirituality or religion. It's not difficult for us. Everything that we do has some base which is based on spirituality or religion. So it's one of the very few countries in the world where we can bring this back. Also, we are not reinventing the wheel. We already have been rulers of the world where we had soft power or spirituality into our daily lives. What we now want is to bring that back. It's repeating it. It's not reinventing the wheel. So it's possible for us to start thinking about how to bring this change into our daily life. Reason why we brought these 40 people together yesterday, and some of these will sit in front of you right now, and Anthony will be asking them questions from which you will learn what was discussed yesterday, what was the conclusion, what were the thoughts about power, and we have found that more and more and more people are getting excited about what we are talking about. Not only that power is coming back to Bharat, but also that we can really think about in a practical way how can we make that power soft and bring spirituality into our lives. Each and every one of us feels good about doing something which is valuable. If that means that we can make values as part of our lives again and think about that, then that will make our lives together better and the lives of the whole country better. Because we can make all kinds of laws against corruption. But until each and every one of us decides to say from this day, from tomorrow, I will not give or take bribes, it needs to happen here. Until it happens here, we can make all the laws and nothing will change. I personally have made spirituality as part of my life. I brought spirituality into my life about 20 years ago when I got this knowledge from the Brahma Kumaris. I got associated with them. And I learned a great deal from them about how to make spirituality part of my life. And that has not meant that I have become less powerful. On the contrary, it has helped me to become even more capable in the business world. I live in the business world. I live in the world in which everybody lives. But I am able to, because I'm able to bring spirituality into my life, I have practically no stress. I have very little anger. And I'm able to manage my life better. Because when the circumstances of this world are becoming worse and worse every day, you find that, is it not true? That today we have to work twice as hard to stay in the same place as we did last year or the year before. Because the state of the world is becoming more and more difficult. So what is the way to overcome this? One of the ways is that we need to become more powerful internally. When we bring spirituality into our lives, we become personally more powerful. So we are able to cope with everything that we are being hit with every day. Because each one of us have so many responsibilities towards our family, towards our workplace, towards our business, towards our institutions. And this is getting more and more complicated. There is nobody here who will say, I have absolutely no worries, I'm completely free of worries, I have nothing to concern myself. Everybody has something. So as that situation gets worse, we need to become more powerful from within. This is spiritual power. This is what we are talking about today. I have found personally, since I brought this spirituality into my daily life, I have been able to handle things much better. I'm stronger in everything that I do. And as a result of that, despite the fact that I run many companies and so many people report to me and for which I'm responsible, I'm still able to find time to come, not only start, but to be at every one of these programs, the Future of Power, and find time to talk with you. Also that just as we rule our businesses in a hard way until we find spirituality, we also run our families in a hard way. And when I started to bring spirituality into my life, all my family members and my children said to me, we don't know what you are doing, but whatever it is, please don't stop. Because all of a sudden, they found that I was changing to be a better person for them and a better person for people around me. This is something, it's very possible. It's not something that is difficult. It is something that we need to decide here. What can I do from today or from tomorrow that I can bring into my life that will make me feel better about myself and people around me that I have influence over? How can I improve my relationship with those people in a nicer way so that their lives also improve? Because when we are hard, when we are not soft, we make the lives of everybody around us also hard and difficult. This is the reason for us to start with this Future Power program. We've done it in 22 cities. This is our 22nd city. And we plan to do this in 35 cities by March this year, coming year. And in the end, we are also going to do this in Delhi, the center of the government, and we are also going to invite the government people there so that we can tell them what people want, what people are thinking about. What is the good for people is also good for the country as a whole. And so I want to thank you for listening to me very patiently, and I hope that you can pick something from what I've said that will be useful to your lives and the lives of your family. Thank you very much.
And so now, ladies and gentlemen, we've heard from Sister Maureen, we've heard from my dear brother Nizar Juma, and now it's my great pleasure to introduce you to the administrative head of the Brahma Kumaris worldwide. Now, unfortunately, she's not able to be here with us tonight, but she has specially made a DVD because she would like to address you all. And this, of course, is Rajyogini Dadi Jankiji. So please enjoy.
Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. देखो हम फ्यूचर ऑफ पावर में पहुंच गई। हमारे निज़ार भाई का रूहानी स्नेह है। कभी भी मैंने पहले मिस नहीं किया, जहाँ जहाँ प्रोग्राम हुआ है। मीठे भाई के स्नेह में, मोरनी के भी स्नेह में हाजिर हो जाती, लेकिन ये भी ड्रामा अनुसार साधनों के द्वारा मिलना होता है, ये भी बड़ी अच्छी बात है। तो अब फ्यूचर ऑफ पावर मैं हंसी में बताती हूँ। आप कहते हो फ्यूचर ऑफ पावर, मैं कहती हूँ पावर ऑफ फ्यूचर क्योंकि फ्यूचर के लिए हमारे अंदर कितनी अभी पावर परमात्मा बाप के द्वारा ऐसी खींच रहे हैं जिसे फ्यूचर बड़ा अच्छा नज़र आ रहा है। क्योंकि एक 3 बातों की पहचान मिली है। अभी आप लोग पता होगा हमारी प्लेटिनम जुबली मना रही है 75 साल की। तो मैं थोड़ा अंदाज़ा लगाती हूँ 75 साल में क्या क्या परमात्मा द्वारा इस आत्मा ने पाया है। जो हम आत्मा ने पाया है, फिर औरों को ऑटोमेटिक जो मिला है वो देने के लिए भाग्य विधाता परमात्मा भाग मिला है, जिससे टाइम अनुसार 5 बातों की पहचान दी है। एक स्वयं, मैं कौन हूँ, समय, बाप, हर आत्माओं से संबंध और सेवा। समझ गए मेरी बात को? 5 बातें। स्वयं को पहले पहचानो, मैं कौन हूँ, किसकी हूँ, मैं क्या कर रही हूँ। समय को पहचानो, ये समय है। वैल्यूज़ को जानना, अपने जीवन में वैल्यूज़ को लाना। जानना, कई वैल्यूज़ को जानते हैं, समझते भी हैं, इंसान में ये वैल्यू होनी चाहिए, लेकिन कर नहीं पाते हैं। अभी यहाँ इस वायुमंडल में आपको संगठन में वैल्यूज़ क्या है, उसमें हम 8 शक्तियाँ 12 वैल्यूज़ है। तो वैल्यूज़ की लिस्ट आपको बहन बताएगी। वहाँ 12 वैल्यू कौन सी है जो जीवन में हमारे गुण, वैल्यूज़, वर्चूस जब लाइफ में है तो वैल्यू हो जाती है लाइफ की। पर देखा जाता है सारे जो हमारे कोई और गुण है उसको निकालने की शक्ति चाहिए। उसकी शक्तियाँ धीरज है, सहन शक्ति है, समेटने की शक्ति है, संभालने की शक्ति है, निर्णय करने की शक्ति है, परखने की शक्ति है, संयोग देने की शक्ति है। तो कुदरती शक्तियाँ से वैल्यूज़ मिलकर के जीवन को अच्छा, औरों को भी प्रैक्टिकली प्रूफ दिखाने के लिए लाइफ बन जाती है। अभी आजकल हमारे बुद्धि में ये है, तो जीवन की घड़ियाँ बहुत अमूल्य है। हम सारा दिन रात एक अंगुली से उसको ऊपर वाले को सदा सामने रखती हूँ। दूसरों टाइम को सामने रखती हूँ। टाइम कहता है मुझे सफल कर, वो कहता है मैं सिखाता हूँ, मुझे क्या प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, बहुत अच्छा लगता है। वो कराने वाला है, समय कर रहा है, मैं उसका फायदा दे करके जी चाहता है। हर आत्मा अपने आप को देख पहचान, परमात्मा से जो मिलता है वो जी भर के ले लेवे। परमात्मा क्या देता है? प्यूरिटी, पीस, लव, हैप्पीनेस, पावर। समझा? समझा ना? कौन देता है ये? कोई इंसान दे सकता? प्यूरिटी हो तो पीस आएंगी, पीस होगी तो लव होगा, लव होगा तो हैप्पीनेस आएंगी, हैप्पीनेस में पावर होंगे। ये इतनी 5 चीज़ें परमात्मा से ऐसे हमको मिले, बच्चा समझ के ले लो या अपने इतना लायक बना के खींच लो भगवान से। ये समय है, मैंने देखा है फ्यूचर ऑफ पावर में हर जगह जो प्रोग्राम हुआ है, सभी आत्माएं जो संगठन रूप में इकट्ठी होते हैं, जो आपस में लेन देन होती है, खुली दिल से बातें करते हैं, शाम का भी जो प्रोग्राम होता है, अनेक आत्माओं को इतने थोड़े घंटों के अंदर, थोड़े टाइम के अंदर जैसे कान खुल जाते हैं। जैसे सिंपल बातें हैं, बात बड़ी नहीं है, पर सिंपल बात को भी समझा न होने के कारण दुनिया में जो कुछ है, मैं क्या बोलूं, हर एक जानता है दुनिया में क्या है। उनसे दुनिया के उस बातों से एकदम न्यारा हो जाना, अपन को छुरा देना, पर अलग हो छुरा करके कहीं जंगल में नहीं जाना है, परंतु अपन को गलत कामों से छुड़ाना है। जो एक्टिविटी जिसमें सत्यता और अहिंसा की कमी है वो काम नहीं करने का है। महात्मा गांधी की इच्छा थी सत्यता और अहिंसा से। इतना महात्मा गांधी ने कितना, मैंने महात्मा गांधी के साथ प्ले किया है। बचपन में महात्मा गांधी के प्रार्थना सुनने के लिए सिंध में हैदराबाद से कराची जाती थी, परंतु फिर भी भारत क्या हो गया? अभी ठीक है जो हुआ, परमात्मा बाप अभी हमारे भारत तो क्या सारे विश्व को अच्छा, सच्चा, सच्चाई और अहिंसा से श्रेष्ठाचारी बना रहा है। तो आप सभी यहाँ आए हो, संगठन में आए हो, अच्छी तरह से हर एक को समाज सेवा का बहुत अंदर से दिल से है। तो जो हमको ऐसी चीज़ कुछ संसार में करने को मिले, जो संसार में जो मनुष्य आत्माएं दुखी, अशांत, चिंता में, अपने कईयों को देखो डिप्रेशन की बीमारी लगी हुई है। अभी इसलिए भगवान कहता है तुम मेरे को चिंतन में रखो, मेरे लिए मेरी बातों को मन में समाओ और जीवन में लाओ, तो आपकी जीवन से अनेक आत्माओं को जीवन अच्छी जीने की कला मिल जाएंगी। और सदाएं अपने आप को एक, मैं 3 बारी ओम शांति इसलिए कहती हूँ। पहला ओम शांति, आत्मा का स्वधर्म है शांत, ठीक है, स्वधर्म है शांत। फिर दूसरा, परमात्मा मेरा पिता है ना, सर्वशक्तिवान, वो मेरा बाप, शक्ति आ जाती है। फिर संसार में रहते हुए न्यारा बनने की परमात्मा ऐसी शक्ति देता है जो सदा ही हर्षित रह सकते हैं। कब मुरझाने की बात नहीं, मूंझने की बात नहीं, सदा हर्षित रह करके औरों को भी खुशी, अंदर से भगवान से पाई हुई खुशी, शक्ति, शांति औरों को भी अपना अनुभव कराते चले, ये मेरी भावना है। ओके, ओम शांति।
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Sister Maureen back onto the stage to lead us in a meditation experience.
As mentioned earlier, the practice and study of the ancient Raj Yoga of Bharat. So what this is in essence is the connection between the Atma, the soul, that comes into a body and plays its part, and Param Atma, the soul beyond, the soul that has never taken a body and come into this cycle, the one that is ever pure, ever peaceful, ever loving. Raj Yoga is the connection between the Atma and Param Atma. So I would like to invite you to have an experience of just 5 minutes of this connection, to consider yourself as a being of peace, a being of love, a being of power, and connect with the one that is constantly in that state, so that when I make that connection, there is union. I am aligned. I am one in that consciousness. So there's an image before you, and now I would invite you to have 5 minutes of silence to make that connection. Now we'll go into silence.
And so now, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting towards the talk show where you're going to find out about what we did yesterday. But before that, I'd like to just tell you that we were not alone with people from Mangalore, with your leaders from Mangalore, but we also had some international visitors. And I'd like to invite two of them up onto the stage now to meet you and just to say a few words. So if I could ask Sister Anne and Sister Esther to come up onto the stage, take a microphone, and say hello to our audience. Welcome, Sister Anne, from Guatemala.
Good night, and I'm very happy to be amongst all of you. I come from Guatemala, a little country in Central America, and I'm participating in this program of the Future of Power to really understand and help others to understand it also. But it's really the spirituality in our life that makes the difference. So the power is within, and I invite all of you to be part of this soft power in your life.
And now Sister Esther from Israel.
Good evening to everyone, and really I'm very pleased to be in front of all of you in this beautiful place that is Mangalore in India. I come from Israel, and I joined this program in these days in Mangalore with a lot of interest and a lot of feeling that the change in the world has to start on each us. And the power, the soft power that Brother Nisar was talking, is really something that each of us can start doing it from today, and bringing this peace inside and the other values that Daddy Yankee was talking in the film, that is inherent part of each one of us. So I really invite all of you to be with us and join in this new way for living.
Thank you very much indeed, Esther. Thank you. Big hand. And so now, ladies and gentlemen, I must not drop the microphone. Yeah. Now it's the time to have our talk show, where I'm going to invite some of the participants from yesterday's dialogue to come up onto the stage and just share with you their insights and their thoughts following our experience together. And I hope that by just us having a conversation and us listening to their thoughts, that it'll really give you a good insight into what exactly the future of power means, not only to me, not only to them, but also potentially to you. So if I could please ask Ms. Lakshmi Kumaran onto the stage, please, and Mr. Deepak Ramani, Mr. V.U. George, and Ms. Helen Sayers from Oman, another one of our international guests. So please do join us on stage. Hi. Welcome, welcome. Do take a seat at the far end. Welcome to you. Do take a seat. Come and sit here, and Lakshmi, do come here. So here we are. This is a low stress situation. I mean, there may be strong lights and a big hall and thousands listening to you, but don't worry. So now, we had a fantastic day yesterday. It was pretty intense, I think. And it started at about 9 o'clock, and we asked a few questions that probably seemed a little bit simplistic, but we asked you to really think deeply about them and go through this experience. And so really this is our opportunity to share what we take from it. And so, Lakshmi, can I ask you to just give us your insights and experiences? And to do that, we've got this very nice microphone, and there we are.
Thank you. Good evening, Sol Melu, Namaste. Yesterday, 40 of us gathered in a hall at Ocean Pearl, and we were taken through a 2-hour exercise where we were asked 5 different questions, one of which we had to write down. Initially, we were broken up into, mixed up with, as a group of 4 people, and we could share with each other. The takeout from the entire exercise, what was significant was that the entire thing, to me, to my mind, made me aware of the power that I have within me and made me more responsible, or at least take a decision that I should be more responsible and more aware of how I use this power at every point in my life, from moment to moment, because power, I feel, is your ability to make a choice. I mean, you exercise a choice. It could be from very small things like which sari to wear, to what time to get up, to whether to smile at a person or whether to get angry, what food to eat, what college to go to. There's so many things. Basically, I feel that all of us sort of tend to take this entire process of making choices as an automatic thing, because right from childhood, we grew up using this power without realizing that we have the freedom to choose, to get the approval, the acceptance of the people around us, and to make ourselves more effective, in the sense that I'm hungry, I want food, so I use my power to placate someone who can provide me with food. So this is the the entire series of choices therefore starts becoming a little automatic without our being aware of how we are using this power. Yes, in a lot of situations, thankfully, because I feel very fortunate that I'm born in India. I'm very fortunate that I have had access to traditional knowledge, a wealth of knowledge which exists in the Vedas and the Upanishads, which actually, what you were talking about, sensitize you to actually saying that there is a world at sukshma level, subtle level, not just the manifest gross level, and subsequently, the quantum physics, whatever quantum physics has been coming up with, and the way technology has thrown things at us. I am aware of a lot of things, but I'm very fortunate, very blessed that way. But even so, when you are occupying your chair in the office, or when you're a mother, or when you're a sister, or when you're just a friend, or somebody on the street, when somebody gets into a conflict with you, you don't think twice about chastising the other person or hurting the other person, because you have a justification. Sometimes you have targets to achieve, then you go about, sometimes you hurt people when you have to get your targets. And then at that point of time, you're not constantly conscious that, look, the other person is possibly a mirror of me, an extension of me. It is a little complicated. I can talk a little bit about it. Yeah. It's a little complicated because, for instance, if I'm hungry, it's not enough that if George has food, I still feel hungry. So I don't see that connection that we have, you understand? But at the same time, if anybody in this hall yawns, in no time, one by one, everybody starts yawning.
Nobody's yawning, are you? No.
Nobody's yawning, no. Hope after the meditation
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
But so therefore what I mean to say is that at some level there is a connection which is visible to us, which goes unnoticed, because the cause and effect that happens in our lives, something happens and then there is a response to it that kind of takes away our attention from this continuum that we are on.
No, that's great. Let me just move to another, and I'm going to come back.
Yeah,
let me go right to the far end, yeah? And Mr. Deepak Ramani, now, you are connected to the world in a very real way, because you sell the world lots of stuff. and you are into fashion, I think. And so, to me, that means that you understand the young people. You understand the leading edge of society, because in order to be as successful in selling things to them and retailing, etc., you really have to understand. And so, what I would like to know from you is, yes, what your experiences are from yesterday, and also how you connect that to what you do in your work in society.
Thanks, Anthony. Well, actually selling of clothes is not very difficult, let me tell you that. Because when somebody walks into your place, he's already decided that he wants to look good. So all you have to do is play with his emotion and says, yes, you will look good buying clothes from us. So it's really not such a big thing trying to make people look good. Yeah? So that's about my profession. Coming to our yesterday's dialogue that we've had, it has been extremely provocative. It's provoked most of us, or at least me, to do a lot of introspection. And that introspection actually led us to, Anthony, your questions led us to yesterday, realizing that most of the things that we've done in life, or most of the things that were turning points in your life, or most of the times you were given a set of challenges, there were certain qualities or certain things inside you that helped you to tide over that decision or that challenge. Yeah? And realization was that most of those things were very positive, non-violent kind of things. They were not something where you could keep, where you could threaten somebody, or you could fight with somebody and get out of the situation. It just meant that there was something softer inside you, where you could overcome the situation that you were in. With yesterday's session, you helped me to actually capture those qualities in a point form. Yeah?
Good.
In a point form, I was able to actually put a bullet point to it and said, these are the things, or these are the things that I have used in the past to overcome a situation in which I have been. That situation could be a daily situation or a once-in-a-lifetime situation. So that way, that introspection helped in uncovering the power that we, all of us, have within. There's a belief that I've always had, which was reinforced with yesterday's session. Normally, when you are faced with a situation, whatever the situation, it could be you're standing on a crossroad and you want to take a left or a right, because you don't know the road ahead, you're new to that area, or any kind of a situation, you impulsively, will take something that is the easiest. Yeah? The easiest one, that's the road you will take, because that's impulse. But if you just pause for a moment and mull that over inside yourself, or you deliberate it for a minute, you'll realize that there's another path which is probably a little difficult to take at that point in time, but be sure the result will be better on that path. So if you're going to say something to me that will provoke me, my instant reaction is going to get angry with you. Yeah? But if I pause for a moment and react, then probably I will leave an door open, or I'll leave the window open for you and me not to get into an argument or a fight, and probably make you see around and get to the point which I've been trying to get across to you. So all these are something that we would have practiced over a period of time. You've just helped us uncover them and say, these are the powers that you have, and these are the ones that can actually take you forward in life much better than the anger, or much better than
Force.
Yeah, that's right.
That's great. I'm going to come back to you about one or two points you made, but I just want to give Helen an opportunity to share your experiences. Now, you come from, you don't look like it, you come from Oman. You were born in England. You were brought up in the Channel Islands, and I first met you in Geneva, and you spent a lot of your time in Africa, so you're a pretty international person. And you've written books on harmony, spirituality, and you're a teacher. What's your experience from yesterday?
Thank you, Anthony. And first of all, may I just express how wonderful it is to be here in Mangalore and to meet so many lovely, friendly people, and such a pleasure to be part of this program. Yesterday took me by surprise because it started off with a reflection, and we were encouraged not to just come from our head and give intellectual ideas and theories about what power is about. But the first reflection was to go back in your life and find a moment where you felt an experience of power. And I thought, well, maybe it'll be 2 years back, and then I went back 10 years back, and I went right back to when I was 13. And I was camping with my family in Wales, which is part of the UK. And my dad was quite a mountain climber, and he always used to drag me up these mountains as a little kid. But when you're 13, you don't want to be dragged up a mountain by your dad. You want to do it yourself. And my father must have sensed this in me, and he said, well, look, there's a mountain over there. It was probably just a hill, actually, but it looked like a mountain. He said, go on, go and climb that on your own. And so off I went, and it was really a huge challenge. I fell over, I got lost, I battled through the undergrowth, but eventually I got to the top of this hill, and I just felt this immense sense of total happiness. I could almost call it bliss. And I felt at that moment that I'm the happiest person in the world, because I couldn't imagine how happiness could be even greater than that. And then I got a sudden sort of feeling like a current of energy, and I just looked up and I just said, thank you. You know, whoever you are or whatever you are. And I wasn't really particularly religious at all and hadn't really put together any ideas about God, but I just knew that at that moment I was in touch with this incredible feeling of power. And I started to run down that hill thinking I'm going to tell everyone and tell my mum and dad. But as I came down the hill, I realized that I couldn't tell them. It was something that was in me that I couldn't share at that moment. But what happened was, throughout my life, every few years, this experience would come back to me again, and it was usually when I was on my own and somewhere very beautiful. And so just to summarize what the surprise was, you know, we go to many self-development courses and we try to train to find this power, but this was a realization that that power is in us already. And today I had the pleasure to spend an hour or so with a young 13-year-old. So it reminded me again that these young people, they have tremendous power, but the way to draw it out is in the way that we did during this program yesterday. It was a reflection. It was drawing out what's already in us, rather than trying to tell us or preach or talk about theories.
Thank you very much. That's great. I'm going to come back to you on one point that you brought up, which I find very interesting. Actually, it was all very inspiring. I wish my father had sent me up a hill. Maybe I would have done better in life. Now, Mr. V.U. George, Mr. George, I have met you now for 2 days in a row, 3 days in a row, and your smile and your vibration is fantastically positive. And I would say that you are probably one of the most powerful people in the room at the moment. Now, why are you the most powerful person in the room? Because you're in the media. And the media, without a doubt, in our old world, is an extremely powerful force. You are the publisher of the only monthly English magazine, the Mangalore Times, which Mangalore Today. And I read it, and it was incredibly interesting. And you're kind of pretty feisty, you know. You go after people, and you go after valuable ideas. So, what was your experience yesterday in the exercises that we did?
Actually, yesterday's the 2 hour spent with you, I really feel it was really worth it. I thought it would be just passing of time, come, listen and go. Like we journalists, every time when there is a meeting, we are invited, we go, talk to them, jot down something and come back, make a story out of it and publish it. But the same way I thought, okay, I'll spend time with, anyway, the Brahma Kumaris is very well known, especially spiritual movements I knew. So, okay, let me see, what is the angle you are going to. There is one thing I have learned is that many of us think that we are weak. We always think about our negative side. We won't be able to do it. Oh, that's not my job. Or I would say that we try to find fault with that would have been better, that fellow didn't do well. This is the way we generally try to justify our words. We never try to think about the power within you, that you have the power, you have the knowledge, you have the power to go and meet people. That's something which generally a lot of us, when we go and talk to, either we are overconfident or we are underconfident. So generally you don't take that. Whereas it is possible for us, we can build our own power. Also we try to realize what exactly is power. Power may be defined in so many other ways, but what exactly is power could be. Yesterday when I was listening to Mr. Juma, I was talking about anger. I am a very short-tempered man. And I also know, and I also read, and so I also heard so many times people talking about anger. It's not good. It's very bad. Like that we talk. But yesterday, that particular, I don't know, the kind of a situation such, his one word, that anger, it really made an effect to me, saying that, he told me that you are the only loser when you get angry. The rest of them will say, that fellow is getting angry, let him get the use of it, let him get his energy out. They don't care.
I think I remember him saying one thing rather good, and that was that when you get angry, you become less intelligent.
That's exactly what Mr. Juma said.
It's what he said.
This is a very common thing with all of you sitting in Dhofra. We all sometimes react very fast. Sometimes I have seen many an occasion. A child will be playing on his head, the glass
falls down, yeah.
Immediately, I told you, you should go carefully. Why do you do that? This is the kind of attitude we develop. But if at all he would have thought nicely, I've told you, no, don't do it hereafter. We don't do that. We immediately react.
Yeah.
That anger is something, I know it very well. I know I am a good-tempered man. Still I have not practiced it. Yesterday I really felt so sorry for myself.
Yeah.
Why I have not realized that?
Yeah. And I think from yes, you can. Yes, indeed. Please answer that. Yeah, that's great.
I have a little bit of a difference of opinion with that, because I feel for a society at a formative stage, you need to have very clear-cut reward and punishment. Like yesterday we had a very smart police officer with us, a young guy, who was saying that, look, for him, when he deals with people who are law offenders and criminals, he has to be very harsh with them, he has to hurt them. And it is a conflict for him, it is a dilemma for him that he has to do that. But that, I think that anger is okay. I think the anger which Mr. Juma was talking about is a kind of anger. You're so upset that your words, you don't know what you're saying.
Hold on. Grab one of those, and then you can have a talk. I mean, let me just stop you for a minute there, because I think it's very important for us to differentiate between kind of reactive anger, which Mr. George you were talking about, and this kind of proscriptive, what appears to be aggression or anger. But as I remember we discussed, which was quite a beautiful thing, because it recalled one of the first lines or first few lines of the Bhagavad Gita, that we have to do our duty. And this particular policeman, he was a beautiful guy, he really, I think, tuned in to this idea that I must understand my duty, and then I must do my duty, according to the regulations, etc. And so there's kind of a differentiation between and doing what you need to do. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Then another thing, as you said, I am into media profession. Many a time when we get a story, in an anxiety to publish it first, before anybody gets the story, we want to be first to come into the public. So we sometimes neglect or forget or don't even take initiative or take pain to understand the other side of it.
Yeah.
Whether that person is going to be hurt, whether that person is going to be damaged. We generally just skip. It is out of hurry, out of anxiety to come first.
Yeah.
We do that.
Absolutely.
But it is a general practice, and you can see it really creates a lot of disharmony in the society.
Absolutely.
Lot of people will be pained. And even if he is a culprit, there is an extent that he should be paid. You cannot punish him like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But generally it happens with our media people.
Yeah.
It is all because we don't have that soft power within us.
Yeah.
We don't feel for him.
I'll just stop you there, because I just want to go back to Deepak. You told me right at the beginning of what you were saying that it was really easy to get young people to buy stuff. You just got to say, makes you look good, and then they'll buy it. So here's a question for you. Have you, rather than making people look good, how do you make them be good? How do you make them be good, or help people to be good, and whatever that means?
Well, we are in the business of making people look good and feel good.
I know.
Yeah. When you look good, you feel good.
Yeah.
Now, how do you make them? Your question is, how do you make them
be good?
Be good.
Be good. It's a tough one.
It's the business of making them be good. We'll leave it to the future of power, to people like you and Nizar Chuma to make people be good.
But what we did was get you to go inside, to be introspective, and to get to come to understand and to know your foundation. So there you have a foundation, and what you found inside you was very good, and you've said to us that it really affected you very profoundly. All these young people, what would be your message following your experience yesterday to the young people, to the youth of India? Because, you know, I mean, I'm sorry to insult us all, but yes, we're all successful people. We were all called to the future of power. But we're all, and I hate to say this, but we're all old. And I mean, I know I don't look old to you, but to a 15-year-old, I'm ancient history. So we are yesterday's people. Actually, we're talking about the future of India, the destiny of India, and surely India will lead the world. But it's probably not so much you and I, or you and everyone else here, that will be in those leadership positions. It's the youth. And it is those that need this message. So what, following your experience, would your thoughts be for the youth?
I am connected to a lot of youth. Yeah. Within my company, we employ close to about 120 people who are under the age of 30, or under the age of 25 actually.
Yeah, that's young.
So probably in my interaction with them, which happens on a daily basis, one thing that I might go forward and tell them is, don't come up with an instant reaction to anything. Pause for a moment. If need be, if you don't know how to pause, just count 1 to 10 or take a deep breath before you actually react to any situation. Because I'm assuring you that your second reaction will always be better than the first reaction.
Yeah.
Yes, so something like that.
So that's very practical.
Yeah. Something like that is what right now when you answered the asked me a question, I actually made you repeat your question because I wanted to take that moment to mull over what you were trying to ask me and how would I reply to that.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. So something like that is a kind of a message because when you pause and respond, there will be something inside you that will churn, and be rest assured what churns and comes out is going to be definitely more positive than what comes out instantly.
So what that means is that what's inside you is very positive.
Very true.
But
All
you
of
have
us
to
are.
get to the center to find it, yeah?
Actually, all of us, I think, all of us are born positive. It's the environment around us that turns us negative because we are all the time trying to defend ourselves, trying to protect ourselves from what is happening around us, and we're getting pushed to the corner. So the negativity that comes out of us is pure defense mechanism.
Yeah, yeah, that's right, because there's fear maybe.
Yeah, fear.
There's a feeling of not belonging.
It's like you try to corner a cat.
Yeah.
What's it going to do? It's going to scratch you.
It's going to scratch you.
So it's just defense mechanism. That's the negative thing. But you sit back and you put a plate of milk in front of the cat.
Yeah.
There's no way it's going to in any way come and scratch you or attack you.
Very good. Now let me just bring the questioning back to Lakshmi. You're a business person. You're the Deputy General Manager in Corporate Communications and Corporate Social Responsibility person at a big company. It's MRPL, which is very well known here. And so you've got a lot of things that you have to deal with. You're in business, and you have experienced what you experienced yesterday. What message would you have to your business colleagues from what you learnt yesterday, and how could it help them and affect them positively in their business life?
That's a tough call.
Oh yeah, this is a big stage here, you know. You weren't brought up here because you're just a pretty face, you know.
I need to be indemnified first of all. Okay, now there is one thing which is very much in favor of the company, is that it is a public sector enterprise. The public sector enterprise in the oil and gas sector in India has one thing at its core, that is to serve the nation. So it's not really profit which is the number one, the target, the most important objective of a public sector enterprise in oil and gas. I mean everywhere, but particularly in oil and gas, because as you know, our entire lifestyle is supported by petroleum products. And to reach these petroleum products to every nook and corner of the country, to every customer, without thinking about profit, because today we are in a situation where you actually purchase. India is not self-sufficient in crude oil. You purchase at a higher cost, you bring it here, then you do all this work of processing it, and then you sell it at a lower cost. So you are actually incurring losses, and no business entity, as you know, would want to do something like that, but the public sector does that. The government, of course, gives it a cushion. MRPL is not into reaching out to the customers that way, but still, yes, at the core of the company's existence is the fact that we are here to serve the nation. So I would only say this to my colleagues in MRPL. We are lucky to be chosen to be part of a company which gives us a lot of security, which allows us to be protected from the vagaries of, life in society. We have pretty much all our needs taken care of. We have a social identity which is accepted by the community. Our families are protected. Therefore, all the more reason to bring spirituality into our life. We need to follow value systems which bring peace to us, to each one of us, and to the community. And peace does not come at the cost of, if you were, somebody can ask me, one of my colleagues can ask me that we are in the business of selling petrol and diesel, and we are not interested in, somebody having, let's say there is a dengue epidemic happening somewhere. It's not a prime concern for us. There could be an anti-corruption candlelight vigil happening somewhere. That's not the primary thing for us. For us, the most important thing is that we produce oil and gas in the right quality and quantity. Yes, that's our job. But while doing it, we can also make sure we are the successful people who don't have to really go out and fight dengue and look for medical help and make both ends meet with trying to pay the doctor's fees. We are the lucky ones who are protected. So we have a reason to think and understand and explore what the Indian philosophy, the body of evidence which is available, which actually points to us that there is truth in the word, in the saying, Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. If there is a dengue epidemic happening in the community next door, the agony, the pain, the horror of it all is going to come back and affect us also. See, today, we luckily work with a lot of engineers. There is this global coherence project, which I think you're aware of, where they actually are trying to read the energy levels of the globe at various pulse points in the around the world. Okay, and they have found that whenever there is a disaster, the entire world's energy level is getting affected. Similarly, when there is a good thing which happens, everybody gets affected by that. And today it is very difficult to quickly point out and say, okay, you had food, therefore you have indigestion, or you had food so that you have a spurt of energy. That the connecting the dots is not so easy. It's a little complicated even now. But for somebody with an engineering background, somebody who is successful, somebody who has knowledge, who has been educated, it is easier. And then there is this internet which gives you a lot of access, and being in India you have access to a lot of spiritual knowledge, a body of evidence which is available, which actually tells you that yes, these dots are connected.
So what you're saying, I think, is that it's important to connect spirituality with your practical day-to-day and really make sure that that spiritual foundation is there, which is great. Now I'm just going to stop you there because I want to now just go back to Helen. You used a word that is entirely forbidden in the West. In public, you pretty well can't say God. And you talked about God. And I was just thinking about all the things that we've been saying. Deepak, George, Lakshmi, they've been talking about things that we should do. Making sure that we take our time, making sure that we understand that we don't hurt people, making sure we understand spirituality and live by these spiritual principles. I think everybody here pretty well knows that it's good to be good. The problem is being good. It's not just good enough to know about it. You, Helen, brought God into this equation. And Nizar Juma brought power into the equation. So it seems to me that there's this thing that we know that's good, but that we have to do it, that we have to live it. How do we get that power? And why did you involve God? Is God actually capable of delivering power to us in all these various situations?
Thank you for asking that question. And first of all, it reminded me of when you said, using this forbidden word. I remember once running a workshop on values in Senegal, in West Africa, which is mostly Muslim. And it was about values, not specifically about spirituality. And so it was suggested that we shouldn't talk about religion and we perhaps shouldn't mention God. But right at the end of the program, I just somehow felt I must just use the word, thank you everyone, inshallah. And the whole audience cheered and smiled. And one of them came up to me at the end and they said to me, we would have been very upset if you had spent 3 whole days with us talking about values and talking about education and you hadn't even mentioned the word Allah or God once. So I felt quite relieved that I had brought it into the equation there. And I try not to be afraid of using it these days, whereas perhaps I used to be in the past. And living in Oman and working very closely with engineers, in fact, in the oil and gas industry, and I find the Omanis very, very strongly Muslim, but have deep spirituality as well and a deep love of God. But this actual connection with God, I find I need to reconnect every day. And I know that if I don't, through laziness, through carelessness, or through thinking I don't have time, there's definitely a difference in everything I do. And starting with my thoughts. You know, my thoughts become confused, maybe worried, maybe angry a little bit from time to time. And then that spills over into my actions and relationships, and the whole day can be just, you know, a disaster if I'm not careful. So, and I feel it's certainly more than just praying or even talking, or it's really an experience. And that's what I've experienced when I was 13, which led me to just keep looking for that. I always knew throughout my life that there was something else, apart from working and eating and wearing nice clothes and all the other things that we need to do. And it was almost as if there was a finger pulling me along, saying, keep going, keep going, keep going.
So Helen, just because we don't have a lot more time, but just let me know, I mean, so, okay, you felt God, and that's what you're doing every day, but can we do that?
Well, I think, I wonder how everyone felt during the meditation, but I think Sister Morny gave us a beautiful, very short commentary with a very simple message, and it was just to remember that I am a spiritual being, and remember that God is the Supreme Soul, the spiritual Father, and therefore, if that's my Father, I am like my Father, and I should love my Father. And so it's about a relationship or a connection. So I think it's probably a lot easier than we think, but it boils back down to experience.
Yeah.
We need that silence, we need that time.
So you're saying to direct your thoughts and to allow yourself to have an experience and to organize yourself so that you can have the best experience possible.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I think
Great.
that, yes, we can create that space both physically and mentally and in everything
Great.
we do.
Well, look, we've pretty well run out of time. Is there anyone want to say anything? Yes, Deepak, just very quickly.
Actually, you said something yesterday, you repeated that today. Do good and you feel good, and do bad and you feel bad.
Well, we know that it's good to be good.
It's good to be good.
How do we have
feels,
the power?
No, it feels good to be good.
It does feel good to be
Yeah.
good.
So, just continuing from what Helen said, if you have to actually take this message of spirituality forward, you've got to connect there at the grassroots level.
Right.
Yeah, at your and my level, after having gone through yesterday's 2 hours marathon session and all of this, I'm sure we understand spirituality much better than what we understood it day before yesterday.
Yeah.
But obviously, because of obvious reasons, you cannot keep conducting this on a daily basis in every walk of your life. But if you can take this message of yours, which is a very simple message to a grassroots level, do good and you'll feel good, I'm sure it's a very, very simple thing that somebody at the age of 5 can understand and feel. Yeah. So I don't know how you're going to incorporate this in or how you guys are going to take this thing forward.
This is something
Yep,
I had
okay,
taken.
yes, George. Yeah.
This is something I had taken up during our press conference with Ms. Juma. The future is with our youth and the young.
Yeah.
Should go to the school or go to the, yes, and Brahma Kumaris has a program, and I believe they are going to schools. Probably we should develop this power, this soft power, in the young age, so that they grow up to be better citizens, and also they will spread happiness, understanding, peace, harmony and everything. Maybe this generation, or at my age, I got a chance to listen to you yesterday, even if I am not a bad guy anyway.
You're a good guy, George.
Probably I could refine myself a bit 2 hours. So I personally feel we should go to the young, so that we'll build a good generation.
Yeah.
Good future.
So our message from the old, and I don't know whether you're old or not. Who's old here? You all came here tonight. Some of you are older. But our message, all of us, has to be to the young. How we deal with the young, what we say to the young, how we think about the young, how we respond to the young. Yes, just one last comment from Lakshmi, and then I'm afraid we're going to have to wind this up.
Can I ask them something?
Yes.
I would like to ask all of you, if you think back in your life, I'm sure there are several moments when you would have experienced God. Let me explain. Like for instance, somebody felt hungry and out of nowhere somebody walks in with food for you. You think of someone and the telephone rings and the person is on the line. You are in a very bad situation, you need someone to help you and some stranger walks in and helps you. There are miracles which happen in my life on a daily basis. On a daily basis, there are multiple things which happen where I feel that, look, God is with me, and it happens through others and through us. Sometimes I am the, what shall I say, the medium for God, sometimes somebody else is. I'm sure all of you have experienced it, yes? See, everybody has, and I tell you something about Mangalore is, there is something about the energy of this place which actually makes these kind of experiences a little more than
Fantastic,
in other
yeah.
places.
Yeah.
I think it's something to do with the greenery, I don't know what it is, but it does happen, it's more here. And what I feel is, if we could, while we focus so much on the visible world, what is visible to us, if we could also start giving a little bit of attention to that invisible world, you want to call it God, you want to call it whatever, that invisible world which is very much active and powerful and it determines our life. And if we passed on that sensitivity, that awareness to our children. Yesterday, there's another thing which he said when he was referring to Isaac Newton's third law. At the atomic level, there is the law of action and reaction. And, and the rebirth. I know a lot of religions look down on rebirth, but it makes logical sense to believe in rebirth. I believe in rebirth because there are a lot of instances where memories are carried forward to a 2-year-old child who knows so many ragas. How can a 2 or 3-year-old child know 72 Mela Karta ragas? It's impossible. I mean, there's somebody who's 4 years old who can relate this life of somebody who died 40 years before in some other place. So there are some links and connections which we are not aware of, but we just don't know how to connect the dots. It's very important for the pharmaceutical industry, for the so-called wellness industry to keep us in this level of ignorance. But otherwise, I think if we are able to pass on our sense of understanding of an invisible world which works around us, I think it'll be easier for us to bring spirituality into our lives. Spirituality, just basically to my mind, what I felt yesterday also is to be constantly conscious of the fact that I am manifest, but that manifest being is a temporary, it's like my sari. Tomorrow I wear another sari and this is only one part. While I should enjoy it, I should be prepared for the next one. And if we can pass this on to our children, I think.
That would be great. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. Well, I've enjoyed our conversation greatly, and I'd like you to give a warm round of applause to Lakshmi, Mr. George, Helen, and Deepak. So thank you very much for joining us, and if you'd like to go back down into the audience, thanks again. It's great. It is indeed. It's a great, great thing to be here. Thanks, Deepak. Thanks. Okay. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move to the next part of our program. And I hope you got some good insights as to what we were talking about yesterday. But now this part of our program, I'm going to ask for our special guests to come up onto the stage. So if the Honorable U.T. Khadar, Minister of Health and Family Welfare, could come up onto the stage, Mr. Nizar Juma, Dharmraj Bhai, and B.K. Basvaraj, could they all please come up onto the stage? Thank you, thank you. Come on and take your seat. Yep, great. How do you do? Thank you for coming. Do come and take your seats. Just there, that's great. And yeah, I'm hoping that we can have B.K. Basvaraj up on the stage. I know you're there, I can see you. And Dharamraj Bhai, where are you? Must be here somewhere. Come up onto the stage. Great. Great, welcome. Please take your seat. And so now, I would like to ask the Honourable U.T. Kada, who is the Minister for Health and Welfare in Karnataka State, to make your address, please.
I hope I can talk in Kannada. No
Yes, please do.
ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಕುಮಾರಿ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ವತಿಯಿಂದ ಏರ್ಪಡಿಸಲ್ಪಟ್ಟಂತಹ ಈ ಒಂದು ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ವೇದಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಉಪಸ್ಥಿತವಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಗೌರವಿತ ಗಣ್ಯ ಅತಿಥಿಗಳೇ, ಮುಂದಿರುವ ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲ ಗುರು ಹಿರಿಯರೇ, ಸೋದರರೇ, ಆತ್ಮಮಿತ್ರರೇ, ಬಹುಶಃ ನಿನ್ನೆ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನನ್ನ ಸಹೋದರರು ಕೇಳಿಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗಿ ಬರ್ತಂದು ಒಪ್ಪಿದ್ದೆ. ಐ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಅಗ್ರೀಡ್ that I will come for yesterday's session, but due to problem Koppal district I have to go there. ಬಹುಶಃ ನಿನ್ನೆ ಬರದಿರೋದು ನನಗೆ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಷೆ ನಷ್ಟ ಉಂಟಾಗಿದೆ ನಾನು ಕೂಡ ಹೇಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಚ್ಛಿಸುವಂಥ ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗಿಯೂ ಬಹುಶಃ ಇವತ್ತು ಯಾವ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ತಾವು ಹಮ್ಮಿಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ವಾಟ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡನ್ ಟುಡೇ, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಎಸೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಟು ಒನ್ಸ್ ಲೈಫ್, not only to one's future, but whoever endorses this patience, I think he'll be the only successful person in future. So patience is very important, and every religion teaches that also. In our Islam, our teaches sabr, you should have the patience. In other, we can thalme. Everyone who has lost their patience have lost their future in society. It is in history who can come to know from each and everyone. And I'm sure now our society, our Indians, if India has to be powerful, all the Indians who live should have a little patience. As far as we see now, all the problems arises, the 50% problems are created by people. We create problem, then we start solving that problem. Again we create and we start solving. But if we don't give an opportunity to create problem, I think we can move much forward. The situation where now we have to we create this problem, again solving this problem, we are not allowed to go reach our goal. It already we are stand behind. So always I say, how much patience an individual has got, that he is the most successful in the future. Religion, it is me and my God. It's between me and my God. Dharma, adu nanage mattu ನನ್ನ ದೇವರಿಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತ ವಿಚಾರ. ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ, ನಾನು ದೇವರು ಕೊಟ್ಟಂತ ಆಯುಷ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಹೇಗೆ ಜನಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಪ್ರೀತಿ ವಿಶ್ವಾಸ ನಾನು ಬದುಕ್ತೇನೆ, ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು. ಅದು ಭಾರತ ದೇಶದ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿಯನ್ನು ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಚ್ಛಿಸುವಂಥ ಅವಕಾಶ. So it is a culture what we live between the people of different caste, different creed, and how we face the society of which and individual which arises. The life of every individual is a difficulties only. No one is aram se out. No human being is out of tension. Everyday tension only. Our life is only how to solve this problem. We get up early in the morning, we think how to solve this problem. Till evening we start solving our problem. Again we night eat and you sleep. Again get up in the morning. Again we start next day think what is how to solve this today's problem. So ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನವೇ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಜೀವನೇ. ಈ ಜೀವನವನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಬಗೆಹರಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ತಾಳ್ಮೆಯಿಂದ ವಹಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂಥ ಅವಕಾಶ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಇದು ಬರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಬಹುಶಃ ನಮ್ಮ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಟು ಇನ್ಹೆರಿಟ್ ದಿ ಪೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಅವರ್ ಲೈಫ್. And I'm sure there's such type of programs. And yesterday I missed this program. I remembered when I was in Koppal. I told that I'll come, but I couldn't attend. And I was little ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಮಾಧಾನ, ಏನು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಕುಮಾರಿ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅದೇನು ಕೋಪ ಬರಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ, ಸಮಾಧಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಕ್ಷಮಿಸಬಹುದು ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ಆದ ಕಾರಣ whenever now what has happened is when we have this trademark as Brahmakumari is there's absolutely that is a certificate given to them that they won't do anything wrong. There's a certificate automatically that the brand is there in each and every individual's mind, that we have got teachers, we have got professors, we have got engineers. So any teacher, one complaint came to me in the one regarding a teacher. I said never, she will never do like that because she is a disciple of Brahmakumari and she won't do. What you are telling is lies. I'll inquire. But when I inquired, this complaint, this is the mistake of this boy and who has come and given the complaint. So that certificate is there for this because of their image what they built through such type of programs and through such type of very soft or any that patience which I would give them or the way of their approach. And I have not seen any Brahma Kumaris or anyone who was in the association who is tensed. You see everyone, they always be smiling. And that is the gift should each and everyone should have in their life. And I hope all Indians, when how they smile on their face, that is the biggest strength to the India's power, I could like to say. So I'm very thankful. And I'm sure that the most of the spirituality and this patience should be given to our politicians in India, including me. That is very important. And I told last year, if some course is given and to see this so that they won't have that anger or that antipathy or for each and a small things we take it politically motivated. So this type of, if this type of training is given and this type of spirituality comes to each individual, and this will be very big boon to the democracy. I told my daughter, I am not bothered how much marks you get. I told my daughter that I am not bothered how much marks you get. Your marks is not important to me. I want to know how much patience you have got. This is important to me. Because if you don't have, I told her, if you don't have patience, in future we are not happy, because fighting with you only is the biggest problem for us. We tell one thing and you tell you want another thing, and it is a problem between me and you until we are there. Again you get married, go to your husband's place, so between me and your husband, you don't have patience and his ideas, and again you will fight with your husband and your daughter and the neighbors. So if one patience is there, the parents also happy, family also will be happy, neighbors also, and life will be happy. And I'm sure this program will be in future also give a bright asset for the future of this society. And I congratulate all the organizers, and once again apologize for not attending the program yesterday. But I have decided one day or the other I'll be in Mount Abu for one of the trainings to take to be a better individual in future in society. Thank you one and all.
Well, thank you very much indeed. Thank you. The Honorable U.T. Kadir, who is the Minister for Health and, most importantly, Family Welfare. So now I would very much like to ask B.K. Basvaraj, who is the Director of the Hubli Zone of the Brahma Kumaris, to give, please, the gift to our chief guest. Big round of applause. So I'd like to ask my good friend Dharam Rajbai to come up onto the stage, and just want to say that probably pretty well most of what you're seeing today, Mr. Dharam Raj had something to do with. He's a great architect and he's a great person, and he's promised me and Mr. Nizar Juma that he will just give us a couple of words of wisdom from his experience dealing with these Brahma Kumaris.
Om Shanti. I have been asked to speak about my experience with this institution of Brahma Kumaris. I honestly do not know what I should be speaking now, since I very well know that I have a long way to go in achieving my goal, my spiritual goal of my life. I was just thinking what I should be sharing with you. I thought I could very confidently tell one important thing that I have achieved to a great extent in my life. That is, this institution has taught me how to be contented in life and to enjoy giving than taking. With a great conviction, I could lead my life by giving whatever I have to others without expecting anything back, and to serve for the well-being of my town, which I adore very, very close to my heart. And I'm grateful to the political leaders and the bureaucrats, and above all, the citizens of Mangalore, for giving me an opportunity to serve this place. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. That was beautiful. And I just want you to notice, please, something that the Honorable U.T. Khadar did tell us. He said that all BKs have no stress and have a smile. And here is a fantastic example. Beautiful smile. So now we're coming very close to the end of our program, and it's been absolutely fantastic to be here with you all. We hope you've enjoyed yourself. And just as the last speaker, I would like to ask Vishvashari Ben of the Brahma Kumaris here in Mangalore to give the vote of thanks and some announcements.
Our minister is just reaching in 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, this could be called filler. So apparently there is one more speaker, and this is one of our honored guests, Honorable Ramnath Rai. He is the Honorable Minister for Forests, Environment and Ecology in Karnataka State, and apparently, and I've just thought of this, I've just been told that he's 2 minutes away, but I know that 2 minutes doesn't always mean 2 minutes. So why don't we go for just the thanks from Vishvashari Ben, and let's see what happens, and let's hope that he gets here. Okay. It should be on, yeah.
Om Shanti. In the sweet remembrance of Almighty God Father, who is also known as God, Allah, Jehovah and Shiva. Respected brothers and sisters, it's an immense pleasure to thank, first of all, Almighty Authority for making this function a grand success. Secondly, I thank each one of you for being present here, making your time worthwhile. And I thank profusely our very dear Minister, U.T. Kadarji, and Ramanath Rai-ji, who is going to arrive just now, for being present here to grace this function. I thank heartily to our respected dear brothers, Nizar Jumaji and Anthony Philip-ji, and our very dear sister, Maureen Behenji, for being with us as a moral support. They have been backbone of this function. Without their support, we wouldn't have done all these things. I thank Helen ji, all the panelists, Deepak Ramani ji, George ji, and our dear sister Lakshmi Behenji for being with us as a panelists. I thank Anne Behenji and Esther Behenji, who have come all the way from Israel and Oman to be with us. Thank you very much. And my heartfelt thanks to our respectable senior brother, B.K. Basuraj Raj Rishi ji, and our dear sister, Rajyogini Nirmala ji, for their blessings and presence. And I thank all the media who are present here, and also Piece of Channel and Namakudla, who are telecasting directly this program. And I thank Neetu Behenji, Nitin Bhai ji, Naveen Bhai ji, Sriram Bhai, Rajesh Bhai and Manish Bhai, who have come from the corners of India to be with us, to help us to execute this program. And I lastly thank all our Brahmakumaris, brothers and sisters who have supported this to make this program a grand success. Thank you one and all. There are some announcements. When you leave the hall, soon after Ramanath Rai ji comes and addresses us, when you leave the hall, you will be getting prasada. So please accept the prasad and go. And whoever want to learn meditation and experience the power within, we have a center at Urva store just behind the Urva police station. All are welcome. The doors of God's home are welcome to you. Come and experience the meditation and feel the power within. Thank you.
And so now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to give the Honorable Ramnath Rai the last opportunity to come through the door. And while we wait, I would like to ask Shivram to play a little video for you. And I think this will be a very nice full stop to everything you've heard, because there is a reason why we are doing what we're doing and why we've been speaking about what we've been speaking about. And the reason is India. You are destined, whether you like it or not, to lead in this world. The center of world power is moving inexorably east. And here we have the Honorable Ramnath Rai. So while he comes up onto the stage, ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy the 2-minute video by Amitabh Bachchan that was done for the Times of India.
There are two Indias in this country. One India is training at the leash, eager to spring forth and live up to all the adjectives that the world has been recently showering upon us. The other India is the leash. One India says, give me a chance and I'll prove myself. The other India says, prove yourself first and maybe then you'll have a chance. One India lives in the optimism of our hearts. The other India lurks in the skepticism of our minds. One India wants. The other India hopes. One India leads. The other India follows. These conversions are on the rise. With each passing day, more and more people from the other India are coming over to this side. And quietly, while the world is not looking, a pulsating, dynamic new India is emerging. An India whose faith in success is far greater than its fear of failure. An India that no longer boycotts foreign-made goods, but buys out the companies that make them instead. History, they say, is a bad motorist. It rarely ever signals its intentions when it's taking a turn. This is that rarely ever moment. History is turning a page. For over half a century, our nation has sprung, stumbled, run, fallen, rolled over, got up and dusted herself, and cantered, sometimes lurched on. But now, in our 60th year as free nation, the ride has brought us to the edge of time's great precipice. And one India, a tiny little voice in the back of the head, is looking down at the bottom of the ravine and hesitating. The other India is looking up at the sky and saying, it's time to fly.
And so now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very, very happy to introduce you to the Honorable Ramnath Rai, who is the Honorable Minister for Forest, Environment and Energy for Karnataka State. So I wish you a great welcome, and sir, the floor is yours.
ಆತ್ಮೀಯ ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರೆ, ವೇದಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಗಣ್ಯರೇ, ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಬೇಕಾದಾಗ ತಡವಾಗಿದೆ. ಎಲ್ಲರನ್ನ ಕ್ಷಮೆಯನ್ನು ಕೇಳಿಕೊಂಡು ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ವೇದಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಆಂಟೋನಿ ಫಿಲಿಪ್ ಹಾಗೂ ನಿಜರ್ ಜುಮಾ ಹಾಗೆಯೇ ವೇದಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ದೀದಿ ವಿಶ್ವೇಶ್ವರಿಯವರು ಬಸವರಾಜ್ ರವರ ವೇದಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಉಪಸ್ಥಿತರಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಜಾಗತಿಕವಾಗಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಕುಮಾರಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಕುಟುಂಬದಿಂದ ಆಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ದ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಪವರ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಮುಂದಿನ ಭವಿಷ್ಯತ್ತು ರೂಪಿಸ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ. ಜಾಗತಿಕವಾಗಿ ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ಕುಸಿತ ಆಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಅಮೇರಿಕದಂತಹ ದೊಡ್ಡ ದೊಡ್ಡ ದೇಶಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ಕುಸಿತ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಆದರೆ ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹುಶಃ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ನಾವು ನೈತಿಕತೆಯನ್ನು ಉಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದರ ಮೂಲಕ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಶಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಉಳಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ಯಾವುದೇ ಸನ್ನಿವೇಶ ಇದ್ದರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯ ವರ್ತಮಾನ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಥಾನಮಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಉಳಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಅದರಿಂದಾಗಿ ಭವಿಷ್ಯತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆ ನೋಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಇದೆ. ಈ ಥರ ಪ್ರಪಂಚದ ದೊಡ್ಡ ದೊಡ್ಡ ದೇಶಗಳು ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆ ಕಣ್ಣಾಯಿಸ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ದ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಪವರ್ ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ವಿಶೇಷವಾದ ಚರ್ಚೆಗಳು ನಡೆದಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ನಾನು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಶುಭವಾಗಲಿ. ಆಲ್ ದಿ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನನ್ನ ಎರಡನ್ನು ಮಾತನ್ನು ಮುಕ್ತಾಯ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಜೈ ಜೈ.
Thank you so much indeed. And now I'd like to ask our dear brother, the director of the Hubli zone, and this is BK Basfaraj, to please give our honored guest the gift. Thank you so much, Ramnath Raiji. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our program, and we certainly wish you well. We hope that you have heard our message that the power in this world is moving your way, and the power that you can develop is what we have called soft power, and that each and every one of you can have it, can use it, and can lead and help your nation to a very, very bright future in this world. So I wish you good night, and do not forget, please, to take your tholi, your prasad, as you leave the building. Thank you and good night.